Good afternoon, Rotarians.
Good afternoon, Tim.
Welcome. Hi. Welcome to the December 4th meeting of the Rotary Club of Des Moines. I'm your president, Tim Lowitz. And I looked this up, if you want to feel more depressed about the temperature outside, 3 weeks ago tomorrow it was 74 degrees. I was looking for tea times that day, and yeah. So, anyway, thanks to Nakona Dayton for serving as our greeter today, and thank you to and Patty Quinless will be up here in a moment. She volunteered for the Moment of Inspiration, so good job out of both of you in stepping up. And a reminder that you can volunteer for those two positions as well, either online or at the table in the lobby. So I'll invite Patty up, and she will lead us in the Moment of Inspiration and the Pledge of Allegiance and four-way test, and then we will greet our fellow Rotarians. Patty?
Hello, everybody, and I'm going to talk about something that you may not be aware of, that winter is here. Okay, now why is that important? Well, first of all, we've gotten snow, so we need to be careful when we're walking around, but more importantly is when it gets this cold, we bundle up, our skin gets covered, and we're almost to winter solstice, which is on December 21st, which means we get a lot less sunlight, and the sun we do get is a lot lower in the sky. Now you might think, oh, well, that's just, of course, but that actually affects our health. So we cover up our skin, we don't get much direct sunlight, and we're not outdoors as more, and what that means is our bodies stop producing vitamin D. Now you may think, oh, well, why is vitamin D so important? Well, vitamin D, almost all of the vitamin D that we do get from our skin. And it's necessary for bone density for us older women, very important. Also decreases the risk of getting things like colds. We heal faster of minor wounds when we have vitamin D. And for some of you I see out there, you don't have as much hair loss. It also, yeah, I thought that would go over well. But even more importantly, it decreases your risk of cancer, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, multiple sclerosis, and high blood pressure. So they estimate in a place like Boston, which we're very similar, this is the only one I can find, is that in the wintertime, wearing the clothes that we wear, we would actually have to be outdoor in the sun for over 2 hours to get enough vitamin D. Well, I don't know about you, but on days like today, I'm not going to spend 2 hours outdoors. We can also get it from some food, oily fish, egg yolks, beef liver, fortified milk products, etc., and cod liver oil. If you ever, when you were young, you might have been given that by your mom. So we need somewhere between 60 and 800 milligrams a day. And if you're older, you have a poor diet, kidney disease or anything, you may need up to 2,000 milligrams a day. Well, we're not getting it. And they estimate that somewhere around 40% of all Iowans become vitamin D deficient during the winter. So what should you do? Well, certainly a healthy diet like we get served here is very important, but the other thing is, if you think you might be deficient, and that goes especially for older people, people with darker skin, people with kidney disease, things like that, people who don't go outdoors very much, you may want to think about taking, for the wintertime, a good quality, once a day vitamin. And I say once a day because you don't want to take mega doses. Mega doses can actually have harmful effects. But just a good quality multivitamin every day will get you through the winter, and for those of us who may be at risk for osteoporosis, things like that, it will keep our bones nice and strong through the winter. So that's my health inspiration for the day. So, if you would join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Four-way test.
Is it true? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Oh, you like it? Oh, thank you. Yeah, I do. I know you can see those.
I know they're welcome again. We just heard each other for a few minutes, and I do a little bit more script than you guys. Right, ready? All right, let's see. Put your hand out and have a shake. Shake. Put it to the lower. Oh, thank you. Shake. Oh, there you go. Good job.
Okay, we'll keep moving on because we want to get to our special guest for today. I know this is a program that everyone likes to attend. But before we do that, we have a few things. We do have several guests, so as is tradition, I'm going to ask our guests to just stand and remain standing as I call your names, and we'll greet you as a group. First is Bethany Botchway, the engagement director at Ellipsis and a guest of Chris Anderson. Adriano Roma Rapol. If you remember, Adriano joined us a few weeks ago, the Grandview student who is back again, and he is a Rotary Youth Exchange alumni from Spain. So, thank you, Adriano. And then Zach Russell. Oops. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Lisa Russell, my script was had an extra space in there. Lisa Russell and Zach Fox from the Puppy Jake Foundation are with us, and Colonel is with us as well. Colonel is my favorite guest that we've ever had. So thank you, guests, for joining us. All right, we do have a few quick where in the world. It's Club 27, and for our guests, the Rotary Club of Des Moines is the 27th club in the world of over 36,000 Rotary clubs. So we like to share pictures of our travels. The first here is past President Sean Mullen and Mark Snell with their spouses. They recently traveled to Japan, and this is in front of Mount Fuji, is that right? That's right. All right. And then we have, next is Chris and Shannon Anderson, and they were recently in Colorado Springs. Apparently they don't have as much snow as we have here in Colorado Springs. And then finally, again, we have Doug Saltzman. He's back from a several-week trip to France. I've petitioned the board to have this segment renamed Where in the World is Doug? All we ever do is get pictures of Doug, but apparently he had a good time. So thank you for sending those pictures in. If you're going somewhere fun, please send those to Kitty, and we'll post them for the group. And now back by popular demand. I was riding the elevator up with Ted Corrigan, and he said, "Is there a Rotary Law and Disorder today?" Because if he's not, he was just going to turn around. So for the guests, this is the segment where I try and bring a little humor to my chosen profession, the legal profession. And I swear, I think you guys probably think I make this up. This one is short and sweet, but it actually is. I have the website from an ABC News affiliate in San Diego. It's not made up, even though when I read these, I often think they are. There's just something about the web. So this is 2016 in San Diego, and this is probably the best opening sentence to a news story I've ever heard. Stanley McQuarrie is suing the police dog that bit him when he tried to get away from the police after breaking into an elderly man's apartment, pushing the man out of his electric wheelchair, and trying to flee from the police very slowly. I think about that photo and I'm just like, you can see exactly what's going on. So when interviewed from jail, Mr. McQuarrie said he saw an electric wheelchair that looked to be like his own electric wheelchair. So he broke into the home, of course, of the elderly victim, pushed the man out of the chair, and took off in the electric wheelchair. The story didn't say how the cops got there, but apparently they didn't need to rush. So when the cops got there, they told him to stop, but he didn't. And then the officer said, "If you don't stop, I'm going to release my police dog," and he still didn't listen. And when asked about his actions, Mr. McQuarrie said, quote, "I guess I was tripping," close quote. So from jail, Mr. McQuarrie sued the canine officer and actually named the canine dog, as a defendant twice. And when asked why, he said, "I must have made a mistake. No, I love dogs. I have a service dog," which I found a little bit ironic. So there's no word on how this lawsuit turned out, but I think we can all guess on how it turned out. He did not get I think he was suing for $7 million. But I think the lesson is don't file lawsuits while you're either tripping and don't sue dogs. So you're safe, Colonel, for now. All right, like I said, moving on. Fellowship groups. Some of you might have noticed out in the lobby, we have sign-up sheets for the new fellowship groups that President-elect Josh Braby has been telling us about recently. There's also a QR code. So make sure you sign up for those fellowship groups. You can join using that QR code, or either out in the lobby or at your table. And don't think you can only join one. You can join as many as you'd like. Don't miss out on the fun that we'll be having in the second half of the Rotary year. So sign up now for that. All right. With those announcements out of the way, past president and Quiddity chair Kevin Kassir will now come to the podium and share the results of our 2026-2027 board election results. Kevin.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Still looking good. You're still looking good. Yeah, he said quiddity. I had to look up what that meant, so I'll explain it here in a second. But on behalf of the Quiddity Committee, I'm pleased to announce the Board of Directors for the 2026-2027 Rotary year, elected by all of you. We had a quorum. Good job out of you guys. On the first week, we sent out the survey. And as of last week, we had 100 votes, so over 100 votes, and well over the 60 votes that we needed. So thank you, all of you, for being engaged. Okay, so what is the Quiddity Committee? It serves as the club's nominating committee. It is comprised of the past 5 club presidents, and we think through and identify candidates that uphold the Rotary values and bring expertise, unique experiences, perspectives, and passion to our board. Additionally, when we set up the Sergeant of Arms moving into the 4 or 5 year march to president, it requires service on the board as an at-large member previously to be considered in that. So here are the names. Moving up to president next year will be Josh Braby, president-elect Katie County, Vice President Kyle McCormick, Secretary-Treasurer Ganesh Ganpat, and Sergeant of Arms, and moving into that path is Carter Smith. Now, as far as directors in the 2 year terms that will be continuing is Scott Bennett, Brittany Freund, and Susan Junkins. And new to the board for the new year, beginning 2 year terms, will be Brian Beckett, Will Brown, and Dick Stauffer. And last but not least, past President Tim, you get to stay too. So congratulations, everybody. Thank you all for contributing to our meeting.
Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate that. Looking forward to having that role as past president. We'll now hear from Rotary Club of Des Moines Foundation board president and our own past president, Becky Greenwald, and has some words of wisdom to share. And then we'll hear, after her, we'll hear from Eric Obergefell, so I don't have to come back up here, chair of the grants committee, who present our special program for today. So, Becky, thank you.
Hello, Rotarians. Good to see everybody. So, thank you, President Tim, and thank all of you for allowing me to serve as president of the Rotary Club of Des Moines Foundation this year. So before we get on to today's exciting part, awarding our $50,000 community grant, I want to give you just a quick update on the good work that our Rotary Club of Des Moines Foundation has been doing. First, if you'd mark your calendars, on January 15th, during our meeting, we'll have a special program dedicated to all the work of the Rotary Club of Des Moines Foundation. So I hope you don't miss it. For today, here's a little snapshot of how your contributions make a difference. And I hope you know that each of you contribute $25 every quarter as part of your to the Rotary Club of Des Moines Foundation. This is part of your dues statement, and the portion of your dues is tax deductible, as the foundation is our 501c3 arm. And then, of course, that means our club itself is a 501c4. So if you have a green sign on your badge, that means that you have contributed and pledged an additional $200 a year to the foundation. And this is an easy way to give on a regular basis. And plus you receive the tax receipt for your contribution. And we want to thank all of you who've taken us up on this donate annually to this process. If you haven't signed up for that yet, you always can, and we've got tumblers on the table today, and we bring those out when we have a Rotary Foundation event, because we used to have tumblers on the table every day. Remember when I started, it was $2 a week, and then it was $5 a week, and I never had $2 or $5. And I know one of our club presidents brought forward this idea, why don't we just pay ahead, get a donation statement, and be taken care of. So we've done that, but we do still gratefully accept cash donations. So if you feel like scribing a check or putting something in the tumbler today, we've got people ready to count that money after this meeting's over and put it into the foundation. And of course, that's how we bring wonderful programs and be able to do things in our community. You can also support the foundation by sponsoring a table flyer. And for just $50, that donation goes right to your foundation as well. And if you want to do that, you just check with Kitty so that we can get you on the schedule for having a table flyer there. So the funds for our foundation are kept at the Community Foundation of Greater Des Moines. With the current total, we are just about at $2.7 million in our foundation. So thank you. Rounded up just a little bit, we've got over 2.3 million in the foundation, plus our Endow Iowa account is currently at $353,000. So it's a fantastic thing that we do here as a club, and I thank you all for it. You're the reason it's happening. And it's our policy then to use 5% of the 3-year rolling average of the foundation funds. So that means this year we've got about $114,000 that we're able to work with, funding our community grant, and our scholarships, our international service, our educator awards, our fire and police awards, of course the Rotary Rosie Reader Van books, the camperships, and Rotary Youth. So we're doing good work here in the community, and I want to thank you for that. And just so you know, just since 2013 alone, our community grants have provided $415,000 to 28 organizations, which is really a testament to what we can do as we accomplish things together as a group. So again, give yourselves a good hand. Thank you. Finally, I encourage you to consider making a planned gift to the Rotary Club of Des Moines Foundation. And we have a helpful link on our website that we'll highlight in an upcoming newsletter. And of course, you know, it's not too late. It's not December 31st yet. So if you want to get busy, you can certainly do that. And I want to just thank you all for your support this year and over the years and into the future. for what you've done to make this foundation the success it is. And thank you for every way that you give to Rotary and to our community and to the world. And now, let's celebrate the impact of this foundation by awarding today's community grant. Thanks so much.
Well, good afternoon, Rotarians.
Good afternoon.
The puppy's out of the bag at this point, so it's truly an honor and a privilege to serve as the Rotary Club of Des Moines Grant Committee Chair this year. Prior to formally announcing the recipient of our $50,000 grant, a few thank yous are in order, of course. So, wanted to say thank you to the Rotary Club of Des Moines Foundation for your continued support of this annual grant and impact on our community. Thank you to the board-appointed grants committee members for all of your work and effort that goes into this process. So this year we had Tanya Wenzel as our vice chair, Susie Willems, Kathy Adams, Tej Dewan, and Ted Corrigan as part of the committee. So thank you all. And of course, thank you, Kitty. Nothing happens in this club without Kitty, so thank you so much for all of your involvement throughout the process. And finally, Becky alluded to it earlier, mentioned it earlier, but thank you, all of you fellow Rotarians, for your ongoing contributions to support the foundation. So without that, this wouldn't be possible. So as Becky mentioned a moment ago, we've had over 28 organizations here in Central Iowa benefit from our grants that we have awarded over the years. This year we received 12 applications. The committee reviewed all of those, ranked them. We had 3 finalists come in to present in October and landed on a decision. So it's always a challenging task, of course, many worthy causes here in Central Iowa. But I've been part of the committee now for 4 years, and it always seems that there's one organization that just kind of edges out at the end through that final interview process. So I'm excited to announce this year's recipient of the Rotary Club of Des Moines Community Grant for $50,000 is the Puppy Jake Foundation. Our grant will fund what I will coin as the Rotary Rover Van.
I'm not going to say that, Eric.
So I think Randy's in the back. I think I have some ideas for a wheels event sometime. The fellowship, that's one of our fellowships, those flyers on the tables. But here to accept the grant and share a bit about Puppy Jake Foundation and how the van will be used to help veterans here in Iowa is Lisa Russell, CEO of Puppy Jake Foundation, and Zach Fox, veteran liaison and the star of the show there, Puppy Colonel. So let's give a warm Rotary welcome to them. Thank you.
Apparently I'm short. Thank you so much for the award. It is coming at a time in which we really need it, as I believe every nonprofit in our community can say. I'm going to start out personally and say that this is wild to me. 30 years ago, when your club was still meeting over at the Hotel Fort Des Moines, I was in the back. I was executive assistant to Mike Regan, if that name rings a bell for people. We did a lot of joint lunches between your club and what was then the Greater Des Moines Chamber of Commerce Federation. I just like saying it because it sounded really important. It was the predecessor to the partnership, if you knew that. And it was just always such an amazing opportunity for a 23-year-old to be part of this club, see what you guys did, see what you did at the business level, and now I get to see what you do at the local level. I will also take this personal step. One more thing is that you were also the club that got my husband involved in Rotary. He, Jeff Russell, is actually over the other Rotary Club. I am not allowed to say what they say about you. I believe he said, yeah, I never had to go because our attendance policies were a little bit more lax than that Thursday club. But you actually started it all off. You sent he and Steve Churchill over to Amsterdam for a group exchange. Amsterdam, I understand, is finally recovered, and that actually started Jeff's Rotary journey. But we're here today to talk about Puppy Jake, and For those of you, I think I started. Puppy Jake. Some of you, most of you actually might actually know Becky Beach. She started Puppy Jake in 2013. She had actually been working with another service dog organization here in town, and she realized that there was an incredible need for service dogs for veterans. And honestly, I was really surprised to learn this recently. She was one of the first in the country that was solely dedicated to veterans. And what you see here is Jake. Jake was a failed service dog, and 30% of the service dogs that actually start in service dog training complete it. Jake's not alone, but Jake was an amazing ambassador because he would help tell this story of how a canine's love and companionship can actually help a veteran overcome a lot. And we'll have Zach here talk a little bit more about that later. But Becky was an amazing, or is, she's actually retired in Arizona, and yes, I've already gotten my email this morning saying, how cold is it there again? But Becky has an amazing ability to get people to open up their hearts and their wallets, and she really set us down a path of being able to serve. We have actually placed about 65 dogs in 15 years, and that is really remarkable considering we didn't really know what we were doing. You know, it takes 2 years and $25,000 to raise a single dog, and that doesn't even begin to account the countless hours that we need from our volunteers to help us raise these dogs. Our families are taking the dogs into their home, into their lives, and they're working with our trainers to actually train a well-behaved dog. And what does that mean? That means that that dog can be in public. That dog can, can do all kinds of things like pick things up. If you follow Zach and Colonel out today, Colonel will open up doors by pushing on a button on cue. And so the amazing part of what this all is that the dog does give the love, the emotional support, but it's the little tasks that really set these service dogs apart. This is what the $50,000 is going to go for. Our poor van, about 2 years ago, was hit by a deer. A year ago, it was hit by a deer. I don't know how we are going to find a van that doesn't get hit by a deer, but maybe it's all going to go away with this. So
You worded that correctly. It was hit by a deer.
We were hit by
You did not
a deer.
hit the deer.
No. Actually, I know the one a year ago. I had 3 trainers in the car. They were returning from St. Louis from a training conference, and out of nowhere, the deer hit them, and we knew at that point they were going to total the car. We were going to go get a new van. The insurance company said, no, we'll get it fixed. So that is actually the side in which there is no wrapping. But what I really couldn't get a picture of is everywhere that it's black, there is actually duct tape underneath it, holding that car together. Actually, until recently, we had duct tape holding the bumper on. And then when we took it in, and by the way, we maintain this car amazingly well. The wheel wells are rotting out. So, thank you. Thank you, because we use this van for many things. We use this van to go pick up puppies. To find the right dogs, we actually work with breeders from across the country. One of our transporters just got back from Idaho with 2 very cute puppies that I threatened to bring today, but it is too cold for them outside. We also use this car to go out to Newton once a week, where we have a prison program where we have inmates who are trained to be handlers who work with our trainers also once a week to train the dogs during the very interesting adolescent period of their lives. Adolescent dogs are just like adolescent children. They absolutely push the boundaries. We are actually in the process of bringing up a new program at Marshalltown Community College where we will work with their animal handling certificate program, and we will have them train our dogs. Much like we're doing at the prison, the dogs will actually go home with professors in the evenings, but they'll come back during the day, and they will, with curriculum that we have developed, we will actually have them training the dogs throughout that. And so by the time they graduate, they will not only have a training certificate from us, but they will also have a certificate from Marshalltown Community College. We're also in the talks with, right now, a couple of other prisons in the state to, again, expand our program and do some more training. And so having a reliable vehicle is incredibly important to our program. And we're very, very grateful and appreciative that you recognized our need and rewarded it. I kind of want to talk about why we do what we do. The statistics are almost amazing to me when I look at them. Because of advances in technology, the protective wear that our military wear are keeping them alive. But they're actually now having different injuries, different things that they have to overcome than they've ever had to overcome. Since the post 9/11 veterans, 1 in 3 have a service-related disability. Of those, 1 in 2 have a disability rating of 70% or higher. I do have to share that the VA has weird math because you can be actually more than 100% disabled.
I'm like 180% disabled.
Yeah. But 70%, when you think about 70%, 100% is, essentially you can't work. And to think that 1 in 2 of these veterans really are so disabled that they may not be able to work is profound. 29% who participated in operations Iraqi freedom and enduring freedom live with PTSD. Up to 20% of the post 9/11 veterans have at least one traumatic brain injury. Zach, how many do you have?
23.
What our dogs can do to help these men and women regain their lives and live outside of their home is amazing. I put these pictures, I chose these actually for very specific reasons. Dustin here on the left, when he came into us, he had long hair, a long beard, he wore basketball shorts, and probably the grungiest gray t-shirt I'd ever seen in my life, and I had 2 boys. He couldn't look at me, he mumbled, he had to repeat himself, and what his dog, TJ, right? TJ has done is amazing. You see him here smiling, he tucks his shirt in, he has a belt. The thing that just blew me away, he is a vet tech out at the emergency vet clinic on 63rd Street. He shared with us not terribly long ago, I can get a new job. I don't want to get a new job, but I can get a new job. I never thought I would be able to lead this organization because they had embraced me. I felt comfortable here, and I was okay here. But to know that he can leave was independence enough. And I have to tell you that actually the other reason that I put him up there is the work that our volunteers did to get this dog ready to go with TJ, to put a service dog in a vet clinic. Think about it. Think about all of the things that dog's gonna wanna do. They actually, his employer created this amazing spot for TJ to be, and it has worked remarkably well. To have a service dog with other dogs and have that dog still be able to serve his veteran is amazing. Matt, in the picture next to him, Matt actually received one of our first dogs, Park. Park. We were talking about Park earlier, not Parker, but Park. Park was actually has been our only German Shepherd that has been successfully placed. Matt lives up in Northwest Iowa and was in a parking lot, public place, with Park when Park was attacked by another service dog.
You gotta do this, service dog.
Thank you, service dog, yeah. Probably somebody who had paid for a certificate off the internet, had bought the vest either on Amazon or somewhere else. A service dog should never approach another service dog. And unfortunately, Park is not our only service dog that we've lost to attacks in public. And this is a big deal. But anyway, so Matt kind of hobbled along for a while and tried to use Park just at home. And he said, I need a successor dog. And so he was actually awarded Jax about a year ago. And as I just said at our table, the problem with the service dogs, and we use this as a tagline, unleashing independence, is that much like you teach your children to be independent, when you give a service dog to a veteran and all of a sudden they realize they have independence, off they go. We have veterans on each coast. Matt is going, I can't remember, he's going somewhere. Jax is going with him internationally because you can. And it's just an amazing thing when you see really what the love of a dog can truly do. So I have Zach here, our veteran liaison, and I'm gonna let Zach tell his story. But the biggest thing is that I want you to take away from Zach's story is not only how cute and amazing Colonel is, but this is how most of our veteran stories start. I'm fine, I will train that dog for some more deserving veteran.
Cool.
How much time do I have? I'll try to give you the watered down version. So I did multiple tours. I was an airborne infantryman, so glorified lawn dart. And, you have to have humor about it. If you don't, it'll eat you alive inside. So I did 4 total tours. 2 were combat tours. In '98 or '99, I went to Kosovo. In 2000, I did Sinai, Egypt. In 2003, I did the second initial invasion of Iraq. And then 2004, I wanted to just kind of go around the table and do the Afghanistan deployment. So Operation Iraqi Freedom and then Operation Enduring Freedom back to back. I struggled integrating back into society quite a bit. Without my wife, I don't know where I would be right now. We met in 2008, and she was like, "Hey, you're a really nice guy, but you have some serious issues. You should probably go to the VA." And I was like, "I'm fine. I don't need any help. It's for people that actually need it." And she's like, "You need it." So she was able to hold me accountable, and I thank her frequently for that. So let's fast forward. I did okay up until you learn different coping mechanisms. You don't really get over trauma; it just becomes a new normal. And so I learned a lot of coping mechanisms along the way. But we've always been involved in rescue. My wife and I were involved in rescue for the better part of 10 years. And we wanted to do something a little different. We had compassion fatigue quite a bit because you see the worst of the worst that humanity will do to an animal. And we just wanted something that left a little bit better taste in your mouth. So we volunteered for Puppy Jake Foundation to be fosters. We figured who better to train a service dog for a disabled vet than another disabled vet. And I, during the intake, during our boot camp, I said, absolutely, I'm looking at my wife, I said, no puppies. Just can't do a puppy. Within about a week, we had a puppy. That was Colonel when he was a pup. He's happy wife, happy life, right? So, but it absolutely, like, the journey of training him and being taught like how the do's and don'ts of dog training, it really changed our outlook on not only do we really love dogs, but we can give back. I wanted to be able to give back to my veteran community. This was a perfect way to marry my wife's uncontrollable obsession with dogs and my willingness or urge to give back to my community. So what happened is I'm a tough guy, right? I'm a grunt. I don't want to take from a pot that is already, it's so difficult. I mean, it takes, depending on your needs, it takes 2 to 4 years for us to get you a dog. And like if you're in that waiting line, and I didn't want to take from that because I was like, I'm fine. Now that I know what fine is, being fine now, and having this coping mechanism here, I was not fine. But I put on a very brave face and a good front, I was doing okay. So working with Colonel, my wife and I co-trained him, and very similar to what Bob and his wife did. It really changes your whole outlook on things, and it's a lot of fun too. It's a thing that we both do together. It's a shared joy. So about a year in, I'm all right, buddy. About a year in, I got better. I started coming off meds at the VA. I was able to like go and do things that I wasn't able to go and do before. Kind of freaked my wife out because she was like, "You don't need me to go to the store with you?" I was like, "No, I got it. I'm good." Granted, I still bought everything I wanted, but it was still one of those things that he absolutely changed my life, my outlook on my life, where I thought it was headed, the path. And so I was like, man. So anyway, I don't want to jump ahead here. I go to the VA to speak to my mental health therapist, and we are talking through things. This was during the pandemic, mind you. He's bored. He said, you're thriving during a pandemic when a lot of my veterans are really struggling. What do you attribute to your success? And I was like, well, I'm not around people a lot. They have to stay 6 feet away from me, and I'm training a service dog for another veteran. And he's like, I think that you need to strongly consider getting a service dog. And that everything just kind of snowballed from there. Not only for me to really be like, okay, do I deserve this? I really struggled with that. Do I deserve that? Knowing that, and I talked with other, at the VA you have multiple therapists. So I talked to other therapists, I talked to friends, family, and they're like, yeah, you should honestly do this. You should apply. So I applied probably a year and a half into training Colonel, and the application process takes forever, and I drug my feet on it. We were about a year and a half in, and I was ready to bring Colonel in for a matching for another veteran. And I got a phone call, and they said, we're matching Colonel with you. I'm trying to get through this really fast so I don't break into tears. So from that moment, it absolutely changed my life, knowing that he was mine, knowing that he was going to go with me every day, everywhere I go. I'm able to do things now that I never thought I'd be capable of doing. I didn't work since 2013, and so this volunteer gig was I'll take him. I took him everywhere. I was able to go and do things that I could do, but I would grit my teeth through it, and I struggled. I just wanted to try to be okay in everyone's eyes, and I just wasn't. So this I'm okay now. I'm okay. And I love being able to say that. And it's because of the Puppy Jake Foundation. And then Lisa, she's like, hey, she told me for months, she's like, hey, we need to get you on payroll. We need to get you on payroll. I was like, oh, there's no way I can work. There's no way I can work. I know, you're so bored. And I was like, I don't think I could do that yet. And then we had, I kind of realized that I could do, there was a spot for me. There was a role for me at Puppy Jake with dealing, I should say dealing with, sometimes dealing with the veterans. I was that liaison between our veteran community and the civilian staff. Before, they had never had a veteran in this role, so before it was mainly the veterans would say, well, you don't know what I've been through, so let me kind of do what I want. And I'm there to say, no, you can't do what you want. We have a process here. And if you are not going to abide by our process, I will hold you accountable through every step of the way. And if you're not willing to be a part of that, I can't help you. If you're not willing to help yourself, I can't help you. So I use the same term if you've ever seen Office Space. I speak to the engineers so the customer doesn't have to. That's my role with the veterans, because I can speak veteran. All of our stories are relatively the same, but they don't. We're able to commiserate, and I'm able to basically say, hey, we can help you. Like, I was right where you were, 4 or 5 years ago. Now, you can't keep me home. So now I'm doing fancy lunches at the Embassy Rotary Club, which I never thought I'd be able to do. So thank you for the opportunity to work again. Yeah, that's my story.
Shut people up as we were supposed to come to the end. Do we have any questions?
You got a good 5 minutes, so.
You got anyone?
Bob?
Oh, Bob.
Or, go ahead.
Good.
Lisa, you mentioned that you're going to do some work with Marshalltown Community College.
Yes.
By the way, great presentation.
Thank you.
Wonderful, well deserved.
He was talking to you.
The Iowa Veterans Home is right
Yes.
up there with 800 older vets with all kinds of issues. Do you ever go out and do anything with those guys?
It has been about 18 months since we've actually gone up there, but we have radically changed our training system in the last 3 years. Zach kind of alluded to it. It used to be, it's a very traditional model that you would actually put a dog with a family for 2 years and then the dog would go to the vet. We now have actually have a 5-phase, 5-month program so that our families are only having to take the dog for 5 months, which is easier to recruit because we can convince you that you won't fall in love that much in 5 months. But when we made this change, we did it for multiple reasons. One was recruitment of volunteers. 2, it allows us to do kind of a plug and play. So what we realize is we can't actually produce enough dogs for the need. We have too much of a waiting list. And so we have different programs that we now do where we work with veterans to help train their pet dogs to do some of the things within their 4 walls, don't take them out public type of thing. What we lost as we made this pivot was we had been going up there to actually work with the veterans up at that veterans home, and we just have kind of lost it. I've talked to them several times. We are hoping to get back into the rotation of getting up there and doing some of our training up there with them. So, but thank you for pointing that out, because yes, that they are an absolute natural fit. Bob.
So, many of you may remember Reagan, Parker, and Jeff came to these meetings almost every week. I want to also tell them, so Reagan, you just made my whole day, let me know that Reagan has passed his public access test again, and he's in service. But the 2 that failed are also doing important things for veterans. Parker is with a Navy veteran that goes to the VA on a weekly basis and is able to share, she's been a certified therapy dog. And so she's still doing work for veterans. Jeff, my little buddy, was never going to be able to make it. He just was too soft. And he is also with a veteran that didn't need a service dog, but needed an emotional support dog. And so the failures are not even failures. The failures get to go and do something else that's important. So people would ask me after my 6 years of doing this, how could you give up a dog that's lived with me for 2 years? And I watched someone like Zach get up in front, and he said to us as we were standing there, as he got his dog, and he's this big bear of an infantryman. I mean, he could crush any one of us in here. He said, this dog is the difference between me going out in the world and being part of my family, or me standing on a bucket in my garage with a noose around my neck. That's why we could give them up after 2 years, because they made a difference. Thank you for all you guys do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Steve.
Lisa, you briefly touched on the number of people that you have in the queue and the number of dogs you have. So how many people do you have on your list, and how many dogs do you have in training right now?
We currently have about 25 dogs in training. my hope is to add 5 more by the end of January. We'll see. That is as much about Mother Nature really likes to play. I guess what they say, if you're busy making plans, God has another plan for you. We have had, I've never seen this happen as much as it has this past year, where we have a line on a really good breeder, a dog, the pairing that we absolutely love. The litter doesn't either arrive, the litter dies, and so I say I want to add 5. I'm like, fingers crossed. We have right now on 23 on our
Ready for
way.
matching.
Ready for
That's just ready for matching.
Yep.
We have close to 50 that are in certain parts of the application process. Again, I've made the application process easier, but they have to do it. And that's where a lot of it I like it because it separates the people who are really serious about getting a service dog. If you're gonna let 10 pieces of paper stop you, then I honestly don't want you in my program. So we want the ones who are serious, that seriously need the help. The people that, females knock it out within a week. It's just, I mean, they are done so fast. I'm like, all right, you're in the queue, and you just bypassed about 20 different people who are just slacking on paperwork. It may seem like that's a bottleneck. It's not. That is to really weed out the ones who are serious about this. So,
As a follow-up, do you prefer male dogs or female dogs? And does the size of the dog matter?
So Skeet asked about the size. See, now I'm finally reading this, repeat all questions. Skeet's asking about size and gender of dog. Size of dog absolutely matters. We are seeing an increasing number of requests for mobility dogs, which means the dog needs to be able to help brace the veteran when they get up out of the chair, or stability as they walk. Labs are, for what, there is a genetic reason, I don't know what it is, but they're getting smaller and smaller, and so we're having to look at other breeds to possibly bring in dogs. Gender doesn't really matter. We have a really good mix. Honestly, what really matters the most is the breeder and what they pay attention to in terms of what their pairings are, making sure that the dog has the right personality, has the size is obviously, is one that we take a look at too, but really the behavior is as much about success as opposed to gender.
Take one more question.
Okay, one more question? Yep.
Zach, would you tell us a little bit about Colonel and how Colonel helps?
Sure. Colonel is a 75% golden retriever. So the question was, Colonel. We want to know about it. Colonel's 75% golden retriever, 25% English lab. That's why he's got that short, fat snout. Sorry. But, he does a lot of mobility tasks for me. I do have knee and back issues, so if I drop something on the ground, he'll pick them up. I actually realized this is one of the points where I realized I needed a service dog was I had a panic attack at Shields during a training. I was training him for another veteran, and I struggled. And I brought him across my lap and to do deep pressure therapy. I used my coping mechanisms that I've learned through the VA to kind of calm myself down. And within about 10 minutes, I was okay. And that's kind of when I knew, I was like, I need to look at this. But there's so many things. I mean, he's so in tune with me. If I'm nervous, he's gonna pick up. He's gonna start licking my hands. He interrupts a lot of my anxious tendencies. So, good question. Thanks, Tim.
Thank you, Lisa and Zach. Congratulations to the Puppy Jake Foundation. This is one of the best things we do, and we're super honored to have awarded that grant to you guys today. So thanks for the presentation. Thank you also to Eric and our grants committee for your great work, and our foundation board of directors, and Becky, thanks for leading that this year. So, and thanks again to everyone who contributes to the Rotary Club of Des Moines Foundation, which allows us to make transformative gifts like this. You're gonna have to send a picture of the van, okay? Once you get it.
100%.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll we'll put it up there, and I will not say Rover something every day.
Tim, I did forget two
Yes.
things. You get to name a dog.
I do.
the group gets to name a
Oh.
dog, you can too.
Well, I don't-
And you
I'm
can,
the president.
and you get to name the van.
What was the second one?
And you get to name the van.
We get to name the van? Okay.
Sure.
Well, the van.
Please
I'm
come
gonna-
up with something
We'll
fun.
rank on the van. The dog will have a contest. Yeah, the dog. All right. So upcoming meetings very quickly because I know we're right at 1 o'clock. December 11th, next week, we have Megan Phillips, the CEO of the Caliber Company, will be here to tell us what's going on there. December 18th is our annual holiday lunch. So we will, of course, have our eggnog and music. Remember, it's critical that you RSVP yourself and any guests through the office by Wednesday at 9 a.m. Because I'm sure we'll have those doors open. It'll be a bigger crowd that day. So remember, Wednesday 9 a.m. For yourself and any guests for that week. And then 3 weeks from today, well, I guess it's 3 weeks from today is Christmas. So get your holiday shopping done. Thank you all members for being here and with us today and being a vital part of the Rotary Club of Des Moines. Thank you again to our guests. As I say every week, stay true to the good, and we are adjourned.